Park2Park podcast, where we compare theme park offerings from coast to coast. We don't always see eye to eye, but in the end, we try. I'm CJ, and I'm joined by Alli. Alli, how are you on this Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon. Hi, CJ. I'm great. I have a question for you.
Okay, I have an answer.
It
Maybe.
has nothing to do with the content of this episode. It has nothing to do with anything that we have even talked about today, but it has a little bit to do with your shirt.
Oh, yes.
So, Epcot.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of construction walls at Epcot.
Yes.
And there have been for a couple of years. What are they building?
Okay. Well, this goes back to pre-COVID. When they announced they were going to do a Spaceship Earth refurbishment, they're going to add a Mary Poppins ride, a Moana Journey of Water walkthrough attraction. The buildings behind Spaceship Earth were going to be torn down and new things would be built. A new Walt Disney statue, I think it's called like the Dreamer or something like that. And then where the Wonders of Life Pavilion is over by Guardians of the Galaxy, they were going to build the Play Pavilion. Spaceship Earth refurb canceled. Mary Poppins project canceled. Play Pavilion canceled, from what I know. Moana Journey of Water is going to open sometime this year, and I've heard them working on it. And you can see from the monorail, it looks almost done. The buildings that have been torn down and rebuilt. Connections Cafe is open, and Creation Shop is open, and the new location for Club Cool is open. So on the right side, that's where they're still working on it. And that's where Moana is. And that's where the character meet and greet spot would be. They were, in the original plans, going to have a festival center. It was like this big building kind of like right behind Spaceship Earth, close to the water. And that has been erased from the plans, from what I'm understanding. And instead, they're relocating it into one of those buildings on the side. The Walt statue is still coming. Gardens, like just a pretty park area. So all those buildings they tore down on the right side, they're basically rebuilding.
So the construction walls will come down sometime after Moana opens and sometime after those buildings are rebuilt?
Yes, and the buildings are a lot less far along. Moana is further along. Moana's almost done. The other buildings though, you can still see through the buildings that they're working on right now.
So. Yeah, but I feel like buildings go up quick. It's then finishing that takes longer.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, and I feel like this has taken so long because they tore things down too. And that has been frustrating. But I rode the monorail a couple days ago, and looking down, you could see like the outline of planters and stuff like that they're planning to have there. So I'm hopeful that once Moana opens, maybe they can open up some of those walkways, because I feel like walkways and planters, just opening up that area a little bit more would be so nice, because I'm so tired of walking around Spaceship Earth to get to where I want to go. It's just like frustrating.
Yeah. So the reason I asked this is because I was thinking there's all these construction walls, and I only know of one new attraction that's opening at Epcot anytime soon.
Which is
the Moana one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is that what the walls are just there for this Moana attraction? And the answer is no, they're not.
It's just buildings that they're redesigning, rebuilding, basically, that sound like they'll serve almost the same purpose as what they served before they were torn down.
All right. Well, thank you for that information, for satisfying my curiosity.
You're welcome.
CJ, we have someone else to thank again before we start this episode.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Shout out to our friend Julian, our unofficial sound technician. We have struggled the past couple episodes with some computer and sound issues. So thank you, Julian, for helping us. We'll probably call upon you again our next episode. So stay tuned to see if Julian makes an appearance.
Well, hopefully the duct tape holds up and through the next episode recording. So
yes.
Thank you, Julian. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about, CJ?
Oh yeah, sorry, I kind of dozed off there for a second.
Okay.
But I'm gonna drive us back to some more e-ticket attractions, which this season has been all about. So if you missed some episodes this season, we were talking about e-ticket attractions at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, and today we're going to be talking about family coasters. So included in that, we have GADGETcoaster, which Alli and I have not been on the new version of it, which is called Chippendale's GADGETcoaster.
I
Goof-
watched a ride through. It's the same
oh,
ride, just repainted.
well, yeah. Goofy's Barnstormer, Goofy's Sky School, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Slinky Dog Dash. And these are kind of all over the place. You know, they're in a bunch of different parks, and it's not really, there's not many like apples to apples comparisons that we can do. So we're going to do our showdown a little differently, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, we are going to start with our favorite things about each ride. So, Alli, start with Gadget's Go Coaster slash Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, which is in Disneyland.
Yeah, so Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, I think it's a really good introduction to roller coasters for kids. It's got a very low height requirement, so you're nervous, it's your first roller coaster. This is a really, really good one.
Okay, and for me, I always liked the theming, and I love that Chip and Dale are featured on it because I feel like they don't get as much love as like Mickey and Minnie and all those guys in the park. So it's cool that they have their own ride.
And Gadget. Can't forget
Yes,
Gadget.
and Gadget. Goofy's Barnstormer, which is at Magic Kingdom. What's your favorite thing about Goofy's Barnstormer?
I like the goofy part of it. It's so classically like a goofy cartoon. I just think that's really fun.
So for me, my favorite part is there's just a lot of fun memories on that ride. Like I've always gone on it late at night when everybody's a little goofy themselves, It's just I have fun memories on that, just personal reasons I like that ride. And then Goofy's Sky School, which is at DCA.
So I have memories on this ride. Do you remember when we would go to California Adventure in the summers and we
Mhm.
would just ride Mulholland Madness? And when we got to the end of the ride, we just asked the cast member, "Can we go again?" And I think we got close to like 10 times in a row without getting off the car.
I think we got through 11 times because the Pixar Play Parade was rolling by, and it was like we were kind of stuck waiting for a gap in the parade or just keep going on the ride.
Yeah. This was back in the glory days, although
Yes, the
Disney
glory
would probably
days.
disagree. But when attendance for that park was really, really low, so there was hardly a wait for that ride unless you were there like 4th of July.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
Um,
times.
my favorite part about Goofy Sky School, yes, I had a lot of fun on Mulholland Madness, but I really like in the current iteration of the ride, there's a lot of funny signs and puns in the queue. It's
Yes.
like you got to take your time and read it to really get everything, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't. It's just funny.
Yeah, there's a whole bulletin board in the queue with a whole bunch of little signs tacked to it.
Yeah.
Um, it's not at the best, like, you're not standing at that spot for a significant amount of time, but snap a pic with your phone and zoom in, enhance, and yeah.
Yep. So, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train over in Magic Kingdom. What is your favorite thing about that ride?
There are some really good downhills on that ride.
Mm. And for me, Snow White's my favorite movie, my favorite princess, and there's a lot of references directly to the film, which I'll touch on in a little bit. So that's my favorite part. And then finally, we've got Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios. What's your favorite thing about that ride?
It's so much fun. I love everything about that ride actually, except for the long wait times and the
Yeah,
difficulty in getting a lightning lane for it.
yeah, I agree with you on that. But my favorite thing is it's one of my son's favorite rides, and he is just like he goes so silly, and it's fun. I love going on that ride with him. So it's
Yeah.
it's like a core memory ride for me.
And he calls it Stinky Dog, right?
Yes, sometimes he calls it Stinky Dog Dash, which I think is really funny. All right, let's go over some opening dates. Alli, kick us off here.
Gadget's Go Coaster opened on January 23rd, 1993. Chippendale's Gadget Coaster opened on March 19th, 2023.
Okay, and Goofy's Barnstormer at Magic Kingdom, the original iteration of that ride, opened October 1st, 1996.
Mulholland Madness was open from February 8th, 2001 to October 12th, 2010. Goofy's Sky School opened July 1st, 2011.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train soft opened May 21st, 2014, with its full opening a week later on May 28th, 2014. So it's about to turn 9 years old tomorrow.
Oh.
And then Slinky Dog Dash opened June 30th, 2018. All right, moving on to fun facts, history, and trivia. Alli, I don't know about you, but I had a hard time finding a lot of fun facts on this,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we'll do what we can.
Yeah, it was sparse out there. So Gadget Hackwrench is Gadget's full name. Her last name is Hackwrench, and she is from Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which only aired from 1989 to 1990. Or I guess it was only making new episodes in those years. It continued to air those episodes as reruns. This is the shortest attraction in Disneyland. CJ, I want you to guess how long this attraction is. I'm not looking for like distance, I'm looking for like minutes, seconds.
1 minute and 12 seconds.
You are high, madam.
Oh.
It is
Can
under
I try
a
again?
minute.
Oh, under a minute. Wow. So like 45 seconds?
44 seconds, yes.
Wow.
It's so short. And that's why we have so few fun facts for it.
Goofy's Barnstormer. So, when this attraction first opened on October 1st, 1996, the 25th anniversary of Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World, by the way, it was originally called the Barnstormer at Goofy's Wiseacre Farm. And basically, guests were in airplanes, and Goofy was the flying instructor, which sounds a lot like Goofy's Sky School, which we'll get to in a minute. It was renamed during phase 1 of the opening of New Fantasyland to the Barnstormer, Goofy's Barnstormer. So the backstory for the original attraction was it appeared to be an airplane school taught by Goofy, and basically as a guest, you were flying in his homemade biplane as it went through its tricks, and then you landed into a barn. And inside the barn, there were 3 audio animatronic chickens that were from Epcot's World of Motion attraction, an old Epcot ride. Before Goofy's Wiseacre Farm ride was there, it was the site of Grandma Duck's petting farm in Mickey's Birthday Land, which it was there from June 18th, 1988 until the new ride opened. And that was where the cow with the Mickey head was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then they relocated it to Fort Wilderness. All right.
So Mulholland Madness, this is a not fun fact. Within its first month of operation, there were 3 accidents. So it had to close fairly soon after opening for them to, do some refurbishments, make some changes, and reopen it as Mulholland Madness. Goofy's Sky School, this is directly from the Disneyland website, the page for Goofy's Sky School. It is inspired by Disney's madcap how-to cartoons of the 1940s and 1950s, specifically one called Goofy's Glider, which is from 1940.
I love those cartoons. They're so funny. And I know they're a cartoon and they're exaggerated, but on some level, they're just so relatable to being a human and making mistakes. Yes. Okay, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, some fun facts here. A lot of things were lifted directly from the film. So like when you're going up the lift hill and you see the dwarfs walking up beside you, their shadows, that animation is lifted directly from the film, which is really cool. The way the vault looks when you enter the mine, again, lifted from the film. So just keep an eye out. If you're a fan of Snow White, you'll see a lot of very specific callbacks to things in the movie. Some of the audio animatronics were recycled from the old Snow White ride that used to be in Magic Kingdom. So like the vultures on one of the lift hill, and then at the very end when they're all dancing in Snow White's cottage, those characters as well. And this attraction replaced 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which we talked about last season. So if you're interested in that, go check out season 2. And on November 1st, 2014, there was some fallout from the Wishes fireworks show that caused a small fire on the attraction. Reedy Creek Fire Department came in, checked it out, and everything was thankfully okay. But we could have lost Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But thankfully, nobody was injured or anything. We're all good.
Oh, good. Good.
Yes. Okay, moving on to Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios. It's basically Andy has got this. Well, okay, let me back up. You enter Toy Story Land and you're shrunk down to a small size. Everything is larger than life there.
The size of a toy.
Yeah. Yes. And you're in Andy's backyard, right? And so Slinky Dog Dash is based on this made-up toy called the Dash and Dodge Mega Coaster Kit. So that's what you're doing. You are technically a toy sitting on another toy, riding a toy. Right? Because there's the toy track, the toy dog, and you as the toy, which is kind of crazy. But there's a ton of Easter eggs. If you are a Toy Story or a Pixar fan, I will give you some of them, certainly not all of them. When you enter the attraction, you'll see like a gold medallion. That's the ID tag from Buster, the dog that they got on Christmas at the end of the first Toy Story movie. The box for the attraction, like the toy box, has the price sticker still on it, and it's $19.95. Allie, do you know what that's referencing?
Yeah, it's the year that Toy Story came out in movie theaters.
Yes. And then the barcode on the Dash and Dodge Mega Coaster kit has the date that Pixar Animation was founded, so you can look for that as well. And currently, it's the only Walt Disney World coaster that has 2 launches. And this ride opened the same day as Toy Story Land.
All right, moving on to where you can find these rides. Gadget's Go Coaster is in Toontown. It is in the back left corner near Donald's boat.
And Goofy's Barnstormer is in the Storybook Circus area, which is near, it's right next to Dumbo and the Walt Disney World Railroad.
Goofy's Sky School is in California Adventure in the Paradise Garden Park area. It is near Jumpin' Jellyfish and the Corn Dog Castle.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is in the new Fantasyland section right across from Winnie the Pooh and in front of Be Our Guest. And then Slinky Dog Dash is in Hollywood Studios in Toy Story Land. It's at the edge of the park by alien swirling saucers. Now, let's talk about the queue and the exterior.
For Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, this is an outdoor coaster. The queue is also 99% outdoors. You kind of walk around the coaster and you pass directly by Donald's boat. The queue is made up of chipmunk scale versions of everyday items. So, for instance, there's a bridge that's made out of matchsticks and a comb. And then you enter Gadget's workshop to board your ride vehicle.
So, you watched the walkthrough for the new one.
Yes.
Or the ride through. How did they like really change the queue at all from
No. It's the same. They repainted everything, but it's the same.
Okay. Goofy's Barnstormer is like Great Goofini is the magician circus trick guy. So it's themed after a circus, basically. And it's pretty much an outdoor queue, except for the very end, right before you board. You pass by posters and props from Goofy's time as the Great Goofini, and you also pass by the railroad and Tron Light Cycle Run. You can see it off in the distance. And there are a few awnings up above the queue that look like they're circus themed. You know, it's like if you were to jump off of a high height and like land onto one of those bouncy things, like that's what it looks like to me. You know what I'm talking about? Like from circus cartoons?
By bouncy thing, do you mean a trampoline?
Yeah, but the one that they like hold, you know, like the people run around and hold it and try to guess where the guy's going to land. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's called a trampoline, but it's not like a backyard trampoline. Okay, anyways. So once you're done with the outside, you enter this barn structure to board your vehicle, and there's some more props in that area.
For Goofy's Sky School, if the queue is long, you will be outdoors in I don't think it's like covered, but it's definitely shaded with either shade structures or trees. I'm not sure which. But you do eventually get to an uphill ramp, an uphill ramp, not a ranch. You can see posters for Goofy's Sky School on the building as well, like CJ mentioned earlier.
And Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you wind through like this enchanted forest looking area, and then eventually you enter the Dwarfs Mine. And in the queue, there are a lot of different interactive elements with gems and water and music and projections. It does have a long standby wait, not gonna lie, so take advantage of those interactive things. You switch back through the mine area, and then eventually you board the ride vehicle, and it has video instruction for how to board the vehicle, which I think is really cool. The little dwarf animation is really cute. And then for Slinky Dog Dash, the queue sometimes extends really far past the entrance, like through Toy Story Land. If you see that line, I would come back later. But it's kind of like a play set, so there's a lot of oversized toys and blocks all around. You know, if you start thinking like, oh, these are toys, you'll start to notice more details, basically. The queue is partially covered once you like get into the actual queue, not the outside portion, and you wind past the beginning of the ride, so you can watch Slinky Dog go by, and you see instructions for assembling the ride and all sorts of stuff like that. And they also have a how to board video, so in case you get confused on how to enter a ride vehicle, it tells you.
See, I think they need a how to board for Tron, the how to board video for that. Was there one?
Yes. I know there's a video in the queue, but I don't remember if it tells you how to board.
Yeah.
But I would agree that they do need it.
Because, I mean, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Slinky Dog Dash are pretty standard, I think.
Yes, you get down and you pull the lap bar.
Tron is not standard, and if you're on the far side, you go like on the back. So I think that would benefit from a video. So, but then again, also Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Slinky Dog are some gonna be some kid's first coaster. So maybe they don't know how to
That's true.
get on the ride vehicle, and that video is gonna help them. Also,
Yeah.
they are cute.
And it could ease their anxiety too, if they're a little worried seeing the little cartoon characters going through. Okay, let's talk about music in the area in the queue.
So, in the ride through I watched for Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, there was some like peaceful, folksy music in the queue. And then I also heard an instrumental version of the hot dog song.
Oh, I love that song.
Hot diggity dog.
Yes. Goofy's Barnstormer pretty much has like the ambient sounds of the Storybook Circus area, and the railroad is like right there, right there. So when the train whistle goes off, you will see everybody in that line jump. Yeah. And that's basically it for Goofy's Barnstormer. It's not that exciting.
So for Goofy's Sky School, I couldn't hear any music in the ride through that I watched. The queue was very short in the ride through that I watched. But the safety information for the ride, sit down, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside, that's Goofy. Goofy does the narration for that, which I think was really cute.
In Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you hear sounds from the roller coaster, obviously, and some mining sounds, like the little clink, clink, clink noise. And they also have instrumental songs from the Snow White film playing. And there's one song called Music in Your Soup that plays, and that was cut from the original film. So that's pretty cool. And then for Slinky Dog Dash, you hear instrumental Toy Story music, and Slinky Dog says, "Here we go, yeehaw!" Like you hear him on the ride, like saying that stuff.
Cute.
Yeah, really cool. Let's talk about the ride vehicle.
So for Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, you've got 8 rows. Each row is intended to seat 2, one adult and one child. I will say it is a very tight squeeze. And the design is meant to look like a hollowed out acorn. Which I never realized that as a kid that was meant to be an acorn. Yeah.
That's one thing that like sticks out in my memory.
Yeah.
Goofy's Barnstormer looks like an airplane. It's got a little propeller on the front that spins. It's super cute. But just like Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, it's got 8 rows of seating with 2 people max, and it is also a very tight fit. So if you're 2 adults, you might want to consider splitting up for that one.
Yeah. I was going to say something about that, and I completely forgot what it was.
It's okay.
Like the train left the station. Oh, there it is. There it is. It was the train leaving the station that triggered it. Both of those only have one train active at any given time.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the ride is so short that it's a safety issue to have more than one. That was also the case with Flight of the Hippogriff at Universal Studios. There's only one train for that because it's such a short ride.
I see.
They're called junior coasters.
Yes.
Anyways, so Goofy's Sky School, you have 2 in the front row, 2 in the back row, and that is the entire train. And they have several trains going at once. They are student pilot cars, but unfortunately, they don't look like planes. In the loading and unloading area, the cars don't stop for you to get in and out. They just kind of keep going. And the unloading and the loading areas are right next to each other.
Yes. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train looks like a mine car, as you can imagine. There is 2 seats per row with 10 rows total. And each mine car, there's 5 of them, it swivels on its like left-right axis. So if you're sitting there rocking back and forth, you can make it swivel, which is really fun. And then Slinky Dog Dash is a giant slinky dog, and what I really like about it is it makes springing noises, like that twanging sounds. Just like a real Slinky Dog toy would. And there's 9 rows with 2 riders per row. Okay, let's talk about the general storyline and route for each of these.
All right. So basically the storyline is Gadget built a roller coaster for Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster, and you get to ride it. There's a statue of Gadget that talks to you as you go up the lift hill, and there's a
Oh,
hand that cranks the like chain. So that's really cute. And then you just like kind of twist and turn your way around for 44 seconds, and then the ride's over. It's very short.
yeah. And Goofy's Barnstormer is similar in length. I think it's a little bit longer, but basically you make your way to this barn where the Great Goofini is performing his world famous aerial stunt show, and you're along for the ride. So hold on tight because you're going to be crashing through objects. And yeah, that's basically it. You quote land safely, quote. Yeah. It's Goofy. Nothing goes as planned. Okay, Goofy's
Indeed.
Sky School.
So Goofy's Sky School invites you to join the air farce. You climb aboard your flight training vehicle and hang on tight as you take off 3 stories in the air. Zip along 1,200 feet of track on a zany roller coaster ride up, down, and all around. It's a wild mouse coaster. If you've been on one, you've been on all of them, just flavored differently. Just kind of zig and zag, up and down. But there is instructional signage throughout the ride, including how to take off, how to fly, how to turn, how to nosedive, and how to land. You also have a billboard that somebody crashed through. Not naming names, Goofy. Not naming names.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a lot longer of a coaster than these other coasters we've been talking about. But basically, you board in the mine and then you head outside the mine up a lift hill where you see vultures from the original Snow White ride. And then you go down a small hill again where your on-ride video and picture is taken, and you head back into the mine. You see all the dwarfs singing, dig, 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 and all the beautiful gemstones. It's really pretty in there. And then hi ho, and the alarm goes off. It goes tick, 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 and they all start singing hi ho. And then you head up the lift hill, and to your left, you see the dwarves' shadows heading up the hill with you. And then back down the hill, and you curve around towards the exit. And right before you disembark, you pass by Snow White's cottage where you see the dwarfs dancing with her. And look fast, you might see somebody from that movie who's evil holding a basket of apples outside the door. And for Slinky Dog Dash, you board Slinky Dog as he races through Andy's backyard. You head past favorite characters like Jessie and Rex. Halfway through, you hit a second launch section where you rev up and off you go. And I really like that part because the train kind of like goes back and forward like a little kid, like pulling it back to make it go fast again. So you race a little bit more through the photo opportunity and back to the load station where Wheezy is singing to you.
Aww.
Yeah. All right, exit queue.
For Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, you exit to your right, down a pathway past Chippendale's treehouse, RIP, and back out into Toontown.
What is where the treehouse is now?
I don't know. I didn't get to go there, and the ride through that I watched didn't include the exit, so that was from memory.
Okay. Goofy's Barnstormer. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think the treehouse might still be there. You just can't go in or do like the fun things that used to be in there.
I don't think there used to be anything fun in there.
There used to be like a slide in there, but
yeah, in like the 90s.
For, like, safety and for
Yeah, so it's been like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay, Goofy's Barnstormer, you wind through and underneath the coaster on your way out, and honestly, I think the walkway through the exit might be longer than you spent on the ride.
Agreed.
It's a very long walkway.
Disproportionately long.
Yes.
And now for a short exit. For Goofy's Sky School, you exit to the left, go upstairs, walk over a bridge that is like the end of the ride, and then down the stairs again, and you're back into the park. It's very short.
Yes. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you head out of the mine through a foresty area, and off to the right, you see Snow White's cottage, which is the front side of the cottage that you saw at the end of the ride. So really nice photo op there. I keep wanting to say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Slinky Dog Dash, you disembark and you head back to Andy's backyard. You pass by the ride entry and stroller parking and the second launch zone of the ride. So there's like a bridge over that. It's a really nice view of the second launch zone. Let's talk height requirements.
Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster, 35 inches. Goofy's Barnstormer, also 35 inches. Goofy's Sky School, 42 inches. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, 38 inches. And Slinky Dog Dash, 38 inches.
During the fireworks, Gadget's Go Coaster, I'm sorry, I am reverting back to the old name. Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster is closed during the fireworks, as is the entirety of Toontown.
Yes.
It may or may not reopen depending on how late the park is open. So if you want to go on the rides there, just double check your timing with everything. Goofy's Barnstormer is open during the fireworks. Goofy's Sky School is open during World of Color. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is open during the fireworks, and it's a really great time to go standby. And Slinky Dog Dash is also open during the fireworks, but sometimes the fireworks aren't even going on until park closure. So, yeah.
As far as rain goes, Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster may be closed during the rain. Same with Goofy's Barnstormer, Goofy's Sky School, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, or Slinky Dog Dash. It's depends on how bad it's actually raining.
Yeah. And all these, like, they're all outside. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train does have a little bit that's inside, but being that they're outdoor rides, they're going to be susceptible to weather-related closures. Lightning Lane. No Lightning Lane for Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster. Barnstormer does have Lightning Lane. Sky School does have Lightning Lane. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is on individual Lightning Lanes, so that's a separate purchase from Genie Plus. Slinky Dog Dash does also have Lightning Lane, and it goes very, very fast. So good luck on that one.
Yeah. As far as single rider, the only one that does have single rider is Goofy's Sky School.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if it's still around.
I checked the website today, and that was listed as one where you can do single rider. So
cool. Love it. Okay, so it's time for our final showdown. Does one ride stand out above the crowd? And we're going to do this a little differently than normal because we have some strange comparisons going on. So our first comparison is going to be the Barnstormer versus Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster because they're basically the same ride, just which one does it better? Alli, Barnstormer versus Gadget's Coaster, Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster.
I am going to give it to Barnstormer on this one just because I feel like it's Goofy is more well known among kids these days compared to Gadget. You know, you ask a kid who's Gadget, they have no idea. You and I know. We watched Rescue Rangers growing up. We know who Gadget is, but I don't know. I feel like when they refurbed, they could have done something different rather than make it Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster. So just based on theming, it goes to Barnstormer.
And I'm going to pick Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster for like the same but opposite reasons as you. I like that they're going with Gadget and Chip and Dale. Those characters need recognition in the parks beyond just like a little Easter egg or something. Goofy's very well known, very recognizable. Everybody knows who he is, and you can meet him in multiple places in the parks. Like Chip and Dale just don't, and Gadget don't have that same level of recognition. So I like that they're pulling from that backlog of stories to make an attraction. So we are split on this one.
Okay. What's our next one?
The Goofy comparison. Goofy's Barnstormer at Magic Kingdom versus Goofy's Sky School at Disneyland. I'm sorry, DCA, California Adventure.
For this one, Goofy's Barnstormer bills itself as sit one adult and one kid. But that is not comfortable for the adult at all. So I will go for Goofy's Sky School based on comfort level. Yeah, you get thrown around in the ride car a lot, but you're seated comfortably, at least.
Okay. I am also going with that one for a few reasons. I think it's more thrilling, first of all. Like, it's actually kind of terrifying.
Yes, it is.
And the theming is both like kind of similar for me. There's not one that's better than the other. So for me, it's like thrill factor essentially. And I like that there's a single rider option. And yes, the seats are more comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at on that one.
Agree on all counts.
So next, we're going to be looking at overall Disneyland's lineup of family coasters versus Disney World's lineup of family coasters, and which one does it better. So on one side, we've got Gadget's Go Coaster and Goofy's Sky School. On the other side, we've got Barnstormer, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Slinky Dog Dash. So which coast do you think does it better?
This is not easy, and it is very, very tempting to give it to Disney World based on numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think Slinky Dog Dash is one of the best rides ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I am going to give this to the West Coast based on distribution. It's more evenly distributed. You got one in each park versus it's a little bit more skewed on East Coast. You have two in Magic Kingdom and one in Hollywood Studios, and then the other parks get chopped liver. Like there's no kid coasters in the other parks. So I think it's more evenly distributed at Disneyland.
Interesting. I'm also very torn on this. Here are my thoughts. Slinky Dog Dash is a really fun ride, but it's also a really very tall ride, and for a little kid that can be very thrilling and very scary. So, yeah, it bills itself as a family coaster, but I think it has the potential to scare kids away, you know?
Same with Goofy's Sky School, just saying.
Yes, that's true. I do think Goofy Sky School is a little bit more accessible to people because it's not as tall. It's so compact and so small.
3 stories tall.
I know, but when you look at it, it's not you don't see those swooping arches like you do in Slinky Dog Dash. The motion doesn't feel or look as intense as Slinky Dog Dash.
It's a very dense ride.
Yes. On the other hand, you've got kind of a wide range of family options at Disney World, You've got the intro coaster, Barnstormer. Then you've got something with a little bit more thorough of a story and theming, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And then you've got Slinky Dog Dash, which if your kid is okay with doing thrills, that's a pretty thrilling ride for a little kid. So I think I'm going to give it to Walt Disney World based on the array of ride experiences offered within that family coaster genre.
Yeah, it's for what it sounds like you're saying is that for Disney World, there's a clear progression.
Yes. Okay. And I don't know that I see that so much at Disneyland. I wish they had, maybe a better offering. They're good rides. I mean, all Disney rides are good rides. I just think when you're looking at the array of family coaster options, there's just a better spread at Walt Disney World.
Okay.
So finally, we're going to do something that we've never done before, which is ranking all of these coasters from worst to best. And do you think we should switch off and take turns? Your worst one and my worst one, and then fourth place?
I don't know if you can see me typing.
Yes, I see and hear you typing. I'm curious what you're doing here.
I'm giving I've officially typed in my ranking in the Google Doc, and I don't think we're gonna be in agreement here.
No, I don't think we are either.
Considering I can see what you're typing and it's different from mine.
Okay, you want to start with your third place?
With my third place?
I'm sorry, fifth place.
My fifth place would be Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, which I abbreviated as GGC. So I'm like, oh, Gadget's Go Coaster, but it's not called that anymore. Chippendale's Gadget Coaster. It's cute, but I think it kind of misses the mark. I think that Gadget is a little bit outdated. And it took me, I was today years old when I learned that those were acorns and not weird shoes. So
that's what you thought it was?
Something like that. I don't really know.
Okay. My fifth place is Barnstormer because I think Goofy's a little overdone. And I mean, just like what we talked about, everybody loves Goofy, yes, but I'm like, is this the adventure he needs to have? I don't know. Maybe they could have done something else with that space. And honestly, the whole storybook circus theme, that's not something that truly appeals to me. It feels a little run down. and not my favorite theme.
Fair enough. I did put
Fourth place.
Barnstormer as my number 4. It's fine. It's a coaster that is not built for me.
Okay. And for my fourth place, Chippendale's Gadget Coaster. It's okay. Like, it's a fun ride, but I don't have to go on it. I do like the theming and the queue, though. I think it's cute.
Yeah, the queue
Okay.
is really cute.
Third place.
My third place, I put 7 Dwarfs Mine Train.
Mm.
I don't like the ride vehicles. I don't like the swaying side to side. I don't like that at all. I
Why
think
not?
that this would it upsets my brain.
Okay.
I think this might have made it higher on the list if it didn't have the side to side, but I mean, the only reason I go on it when I go is because it's like, well, this I don't know the next time I'm going to be in this park, so I may as well.
Right. Okay. I chose Goofy Sky School for third place. I think it is pretty thrilling. It's like deceptively thrilling. And I think it's a fun ride. It's just a fun ride. I really enjoy that one.
Fair enough.
Second place.
I put Goofy's Sky School because boy, that ride is fun. It's fun for, you know, for all heights from 42 inches upwards. Comfortable to sit in. It's thrilling. You get flung around. Goofy is being totally cheesy. And it just really calls back to the old school Goofy cartoons.
My second place is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's a mix of good story, accessible thrills. It's going to make little kids feel like this is what a good Disney ride can be. A good mix of storytelling, really cool audio animatronics, and some thrilling factors in there. So I think when you're looking at what fits the bill for a family coaster, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train hits the mark.
And we agree on the number 1 family coaster being Slinky Dog Dash.
Yes.
Love this ride. It's so much fun. When I first rode it, I said this was somewhere between GADGETcoaster and Big Thunder in terms of thrill level. So I think it is a good like middle step for kids to learn about roller coasters and like how thrilling they can be. And it's well themed, it's well made, and it's just fun.
So yeah, I see Slinky Dog Dash as like, when you're progressing through the family coasters, it's like the apex of family coasters essentially. And I think if your kid can conquer that one, like they can handle Big Thunder and all these other rides that are more intense. It has some story. You have to look for the Easter eggs and like really look at your surroundings to get the story. Which maybe little kids won't understand super easily, but they'll say, "Hey, I'm riding Slinky Dog. Like this is really cool." So I think for little kids and adults, it hits the story similarly, but also in different ways, if that makes sense. So yeah, and it's fun. Like it's just a fun ride.
It's a really good ride.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other thoughts on our family coasters?
No, I just want to say that I feel like I've been like a Debbie Downer on family coasters, especially in that like top 5 ranking. But I mean, they're good rides. I am just not the intended audience for them. I don't have kids. I am the happiest childless millennial on earth. So not the target audience.
I will say these rides are a lot different when you go on it with kids and you're wondering like how are they gonna handle it, and then you see like them smiling and hanging on. It's like, oh, they really like this. It's like something you can enjoy with your whole family, which is really what it's all about. So I have a soft spot for the family coasters, and hopefully my kids do too.
Yeah, I do actually have a small story related to that. Back in high school, when I was babysitting for a living, not really for a living, but you know what I mean. One of the families that I babysat for, we went to Disneyland together because they wanted their youngest to start to trust me a little bit more. So I got to ride GADGETcoaster with her, and that was a little bonding experience for us.
Oh,
so
fun.
That was fun. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another showdown. This one was different and interesting. And next episode, we are going to be taking a drive. What are we going to be comparing next episode?
Yeah, next episode, we are diverting from what we've done for the last couple and only talking about 2 rides instead of, 3 or more. So we are going to be talking about Test Track, and we are going to be talking about Radiator Springs Racers.
Yes, I love both these rides. I have been kind of thinking which one I like better, and I can't decide. So maybe some revelations will come out during our recording next episode.
I think I know. I think I know mine.
I think I know yours too, but I'm going to keep it to myself and wait until you reveal it at the showdown next episode. Okay.
Fair enough.
So thank you for joining us on yet another episode of the Park2Park podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Park2ParkPod with the number 2. You can shoot us an email at park2parkpod@gmail.com, again with the number 2. And if you'd like to be on an episode, please reach out to us. We would love to have a guest on here. And hopefully it's not somebody who's just here to troubleshoot our problems. Because we've had that the last 2 episodes now. Anyways, And is there anything else? Oh, leave a review, leave us stars, thumbs up, subscribe on YouTube. And I think that's it.
Tell somebody you know and love about the podcast.
Yes, and tell your enemies about the podcast.
Yeah, tell somebody you don't know about the podcast. Tell somebody you don't love about the podcast. And don't tell them which category they fall into.
Oh, that's a good trick. Oh my gosh.
Make them guess.
Okay, that's it. Okay, friends and enemies, we will see you next time.